If you're anything like me, you'd probably think, that sounded rather nice, even emotional. But why? Well, I have a theory. I think it's the gesture, the swell itself. Let's try something else. Okay, that's an unfair comparison because now there's no phrasing at all and nobody would ever play like that. But the argument still stands. There is something about the swell that we connect with on a deep emotional level. But why? Well, I have a theory, but we'll get to that later. You see, I just released a new instrument called Intimate Cello, Iremia. And the whole idea is to play very, very soft and record it very, very close. I think that what makes a sound feel intimate is all the tiny little details and imperfections in the sound, and the softer you play, the more these stand out. But you have to record very, very close, so the closest microphone is inside the instrument itself. But there's a whole other video where I go through all the technical details and all the sounds in this instrument. When I released this instrument, I had to make a trailer for the release, and I wanted it to focus on two things: the quiet nature of the Iremia series and the swells, because they are often overlooked, but I think they're worth the price of admission alone. So I wanted to write a piece of music for the trailer that was using almost only the swells. This is what I came up with. As I'm sure you saw, the basic idea is to juxtapose images of the loud world we live in with a very calm and serene soundtrack. Now, theory is one thing, practice is another, and what I learned is that I am not a filmmaker. It is hard to make this stuff work, and it is a bit cheesy, but it also kind of almost works, so I stuck with it. The one great thing about this idea is that I didn't have to worry about hitting any cuts in the film, because that juxtaposition between the soundtrack and the rapid cutting is the basic idea. So when I started writing, I simply pulled up the swells pads, and I liked the sound of the 2 seconds. As you heard, the sound like this. They also come in a Sodino version. And a tremolo version. You also see that I set my tempo to 58, so I have a little bit of space at the end of each 2-second swell to lead into the next one. Harmonically, it's very, very simple, completely diatonic in D minor. The first section is a sequence of basically down a fourth, up a third, so we start with D minor. going to an A minor, then up a third, to C major, going to G minor, the next section also starts in D minor, but then down to the 6th, the B flat major, then F major, and the 5 chord, the A7. So what I did was I played these chords in, and then I duplicated that track 3 times. Let's get rid of this. And deleted the notes that I didn't need, because these, as you'll see, are panned. This one is in the left, I have a center and a right, and I kept the lowest note in the center. These are the left notes and these are the right notes. It's just to spread it out a bit more, so now it sounds like this. You can also see I'm using velocity to shape the overall arc of the phrase, so it gets a bit louder towards the end. It sort of builds, and of course for that to work you have to be sure to turn on velocity control under the dynamic settings here. For the next section I back down again dynamically and build up again. And you'll see right on the 5 chord here, before we get to the next go around, I'm also slowing the tempo down. That's the only tempo change I made, just so that we sort of land gently on the next phrase. But why do these swells work so well? Well, here's my theory, and this may be pretentious bullshit, but I think it's because it reminds us of the most basic thing a human does. It breathes. We breathe in, the diaphragm expands, we breathe out again. And this is the same thing. The music literally breathes. That's why it's so calm. That's why it's so serene. It's like a meditation. Anyway, just my theory. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. All right, for the next section, I'm bringing in another element with the swells, the 4-second swells up here. Of course, the convenient thing is that the 4 seconds are twice as long as the 2 seconds. So we're going to get these sort of overlapping of the swells. If we listen to just the swells in this section, now we get this. You will also note that I'm hitting the 5 chord right when the word whisper comes up on the screen. And I'm dropping the velocity, I'm dropping the dynamics of all the voices at the same time. Landing the 5 chord right on that word, that was the only cut I was trying to hit. Moving on, I added 2 more elements in the second go around of the theme, and I'm actually introducing a melody here. The only interesting thing is that I'm using a bit of anticipation, so I'm hitting some of the harmony notes sort of like a quarter note too early, and the sound I'm using for that comes from the CS into normal. This patch takes the sustains and the textures and it lets you crossfade from the Sordino, the muted version of a sound, into the unmuted. This is of course impossible in real life, but we live in the world of sampled instruments here, So why not? It's very expressive. It sounds like this. And you get a bunch of different versions of that sound, but this video is not about that. I'm also introducing a bass note, and that is just using the sustains normal. That sounds like this. It's just playing the root notes, all the chords are in root position, very simple. So with all these new elements, let's hear the second time. Then at the end, where sort of the product reveal happens and we have to shut things down, I wrote a little short coda with fewer voices, and well, let's just listen to it. And that's how I wrote the music for the Intimate Cello trailer. I hope you find it useful, and if you want to learn more about Intimate Cello, go to bunkersamples.com. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.